Good morning, everyone, and thanks for waking up with me on Up with India. Today is Tuesday, October 20th, 2020, and here is your morning update. It's officially 14 days until the general elections, and NPR reports that hundreds of thousands of mail-in ballots could be rejected this November because of mistakes such as missing or mismatched signatures. Voter advocacy groups, political parties, and others are rushing to help voters fix or cure their ballots before it's too late so they can be counted. Dana Abelson, who works with a nonpartisan group, spent hours last week calling voters in Florida whose ballots had been flagged because there was some problem with the signature. Either it was missing or didn't match the one election officials had on record for the voter. Abelson said there is a way to fix it. In Florida, voters can cure their ballots simply by filling out and returning an affidavit along with a copy of an ID, such as a driver's license. In the 2016 presidential election, 318,728 mail-in ballots were rejected largely because of signature problems and missed deadlines. But many more voters are voting by mail this year because of the coronavirus pandemic, raising the possibility of many more rejections. An NPR analysis this year found that more than 500,000 mail-in ballots were rejected in this year's primaries. You can call your local election office to learn how to cure your ballot. In more news, HBCU bands are battling to stay on the field, but according to the reports, the pandemic hasn't kept some HBCU bands off the field. Marissa Stubbs reports that the pageantry of bands at historically Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, the fifth quarter band battles, the dancers, and the halftime shows are on hold for now with the cancellation of fall sports. HBCUs were affected on all levels by COVID-19, so now these institutions' bands are operating in ways they've never had to before the cancellation, which includes the homecoming performances. Florida A&M University's renowned band, the Marching 100, has been participating since the summer. Students are back on campus. They're practicing outdoors twice weekly. Bethune-Cookman, winner of more than 10 Honda Battle of the Bands, is also facing concerns it has never experienced. Band director Donovan V. Wells says the COVID-19 shutdown has not only had an impact on incoming students, but returning students as well. The Texas Southern University Ocean of Soul in Houston had big plans before the pandemic, like performing with the artist Lizzo, and band director Daryl Singleton worries about what academic issues band students might have moving to online learning, which has caused struggles for some students. In more news, according to the Washington Post, President Trump attacked Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden on Monday by saying that his rival would accept guidance on the coronavirus crisis from the nation's top infectious disease expert. Earlier Monday, in a call with campaign staff, Trump described Fauci as a disaster and other public health officials as idiots. He also said Sunday that Biden would listen to the scientists and claimed that doing so earlier this year would have led to a massive depression. Dr. Fauci has not advocated a return to stay-at-home measure such as those imposed in many states this spring, telling CBS News on Sunday that things would have to get really, really bad first. In more news, according to CNBC's Jabari Young, the Sixers are pushing to host the NBA All-Star Game in Philadelphia in 2026, part of what is expected to be a busy year in the city for the celebration of the 250th anniversary of America. According to Philly Voice reporter Kyle Neubeck, it would represent the first NBA All-Star Game in Philadelphia since 2002. An event itself had been pushed back several years due to the 1999 NBA lockout. The city has hosted just 4 All-Star games to date: at the Convention Hall in 1960, the Spectrum in 1970 and 1976, and at what was then the first Union Center for the last time in 2002. The league has already earmarked locations for the next 3 events in Indiana in 2021, Cleveland in 2022, and Salt Lake City in 2023. In more news, the Black and Indigenous birth workers of Delaware and Ubuntu Black Family Wellness Collective are collecting a community baby shower for pregnant and early postpartum families up to 6 months, Saturday, October 31st, 2020, from 1 to 5 p.m. at 2611 Northeast Governor Printz Boulevard in Wilmington, Delaware. Also, if you're looking for your next career move, then you might want to attend U's virtual open house on Wednesday. Wilmington University invites you to join it for a virtual open house on Wednesday, October 21st from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Attendees will be able to live chat with the WilmU faculty and staff and learn the admissions process with help from admissions specialists, watch on-demand videos about academic programs and student services, download helpful guides and materials to take with you, explore academic programs, and more. In more news, Wilm Today shares some of their top list of places to grab a bite to eat or nosh in Wilmington's West Side. Here are a few. Coming in at number 10, Crowbar, which is described as a chic restaurant and bar right in Trolley Square, is perfect for a sit-down tapa-style meal or just for a drink. Number 5 on the list is Trolley Square Oyster House. Apparently, it is the place where you want to go for fresh oysters, live music, and friendly staff. This is your one-stop shop. And number 1 on the list is Ristorante Attilio, located on the corner of Lancaster and Lincoln in Little Italy. They say this family-owned and operated restaurant has been open for 35 years. Check out the full list by heading to wilmtoday.com. And more news. Here are the 5 side hustles people most want to try, according to a new survey. Some can pay $19, $22, or even $40. According to a new survey from savings and investing app Acorns of 2,000 U.S. adults, side hustles have long been a popular way to earn money, and about a third of workers, 34%, say they have a side hustle outside of their regular job, and another 19% say they like to start one. So if you're looking for more ways to make money before the holiday season, here are some options. Take surveys. Some market research companies solicit people's help, giving them surveys to take online or asking questions by phone to gauge interest in their clients' products, and many pay big bucks. For example, market research company Schifrin Hayworth says its studies take 30 minutes to 3 hours and pay $50 to $250 each. Or sell your stuff online. Try selling your used clothing on an online market such as Poshmark and the platforms like Declutter that might buy your secondhand electronics. And you can even deliver groceries. Demand for food delivery has skyrocketed during the pandemic, with companies like Instacart hiring hundreds of thousands of shoppers to keep up. Or you could be a virtual assistant. You can find virtual assistant jobs on sites like Upwork, ZipRecruiter, or FlexJobs, or on the Virtual Assistant Jobs group on Facebook. Drive for a ride-sharing company or teach a particular subject, do odd jobs, or consider offering your services to those in your town, your city, your neighbors, on apps like Nextdoor or Facebook groups like TaskRabbit. Organizers on TaskRabbit charge as much as $90 per hour, and furniture assemblers charge as much as $105 per hour. Or you could rent out your stuff. Like, would you consider renting out your car on Hire Car or your apartment on Airbnb? Just a thought. What are your thoughts on today's news? Don't forget to like and share on Facebook and Instagram at WITN22Wilm. Thank you so much for waking up with me on Up with India. For more news, updates, and information, follow us on social media at WITN22Wilm.